Hi, real friends. It's your real friend Winnie, and welcome back to It's Winslow TV. How is everybody doing today? So today I'm going to be talking about my leap of faith. So last year on June 4th, I took a leap of faith and I moved to Arizona. God told me to leave. At this point in my life, I felt like I was having a midlife crisis. Even though I had just turned 23, I just felt like I expected myself to have accomplished more in my life. And I really didn't think about all of the stuff that I have accomplished and all of the stuff that I have overcame and all of the stuff that I did for God. So I just really wanted to come to you guys and talk to you guys about my experience and talk to you guys about everything that happened. So I had just turned 23. I was living with my dad. And, I just felt unaccomplished. I felt like, I was living in California. It's so expensive to live in California. It's so, so expensive. And I was just like, I want my own place. Like, I'm tired of living with my dad. I'm grown and I have to follow all these rules. I can barely have company. I can barely be myself. I need my own space. So, on January 4th, 2019, I decided to move to Arizona. And I was talking to these people and they were telling me that I can move in with no deposit. So I literally left and I went to Arizona with $300 in my pocket, thinking that I was going to be able to move into my apartment and have my first month free. So I took my dog, I packed all of my stuff up, and I put it in my car, my little car. And I took everything that I could possibly take, and I stacked it up in my car, and I took it with me to Arizona. So it took me about 5 to 6 hours to drive there. I drove there at like 12 o'clock at night because I was hesitant. I'm like, should I do this? Should I not do this? God was like, do it. Take that leap of faith. And I got up and I left at 12 o'clock at night and drove to Arizona and did not look back. And once I got there, the office wasn't open because I got there at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like 5:30-ish. It took me about 5.5, 6 hours to get there. And when I got there, me and my dog was in my car. It was so cold, like it was so cold. And me and my dog was just up in my car, and I had my covers and my blanket, and I was just laying down in my car until the office opened. And before I left, I had a job interview waiting for me the next day. So I already had planned to start going to work and just start my life out there. So that same day, I had a job interview and I thought that they were going to give me the keys to my apartment. So I went to the leasing office and they told me that I couldn't get my apartment because my credit wasn't where it needed to be. So it was only on approved credit. I couldn't get the apartment, and I couldn't live in the apartment for 1 month free because the apartment was only on approved credit. So there I was in Arizona, homeless, not knowing what to do. I still had a job interview that day. So I went to the bathroom, I brushed my teeth, and I, just cleaned up as much as I could I cleaned up as much as I could in the bathroom, in the leasing office bathroom, and I got ready to go to my job interview. I went to the job interview and I got the job. I immediately started working like 2 to 3 days after. And I was on like this app and I found somebody to let me spend a night at their house for one night. And I spent the night at their house, me and my dog. And then the next morning after that, I started staying in like Motel 6. I stayed in Motel 6 for like 2 to 3 nights. And after the 2 to 3 nights of me staying in Motel 6, I found somebody that let me stay with them for like a week and a half. And then after that, I found somebody else to let me stay with them. And this person was so cool. I bought them groceries for their apartment because at that time I was trying to save up so I can get my apartment, so I can get me a place to stay. So I helped out with like cleaning and stuff like that. And I just stayed with them. And I was so blessed and I was so happy that somebody opened their door for me to stay with them for however long I needed to stay with them. It was like, you can stay with me for however long you need to until you can get on your feet. And my life literally consisted of work and home. Like I used to live, eat, breathe, and sleep work because I knew that I wanted to get my own apartment. And, you know, while I was at work, it was basically like I was doing everything on my own. And it was just a crazy work experience. But, you know, I learned so much living in Arizona. But I got my apartment February 1st. And even though I had my apartment, I still didn't have any furniture or anything. So I stayed with my friend for about a week to a week and a half until I finally decided, like, I'm paying rent to stay in this apartment. Like, I need to go to my apartment. So a week and a half after that, I finally went to my apartment so I can get settled in. And, you know, my life literally was just working home, working home, working home, working home. I literally didn't really have any extra money to do anything. Like, you know, I had enough money to eat and I had enough money to put gas in my car and pay my car note and pay my rent and my bills. And that was pretty much it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It was some moments where, you know, I was hungry, but by the grace of God, you know, I was able to eat and I was able to put food in my stomach and I was able to do, you know, a lot of stuff. So, yeah. Fast forwarding to, you know, everything. My lease was only for 6 months. So I stayed there for 6 months and my life, like I said, my life was working home, working home, working home. I remember one night I worked so hard. I did like a 12-hour shift and, you know, I was working at this warehouse called ThreadUp. And they basically had us like, you know, just taking pictures, but it was a lot of walking and a lot of movement, you know, inside that industry. And I really enjoyed it. Like I wish they had, you know, something like that back out here in California, but they don't. But I know that God is gonna bless me with something better, so I'm not really worried. But you know, it was a really nice experience and that was a good job. And I met some pretty cool people. I met some nice people and I learned so much and I know they learned so much from me. So God does everything for a reason and he sent me out there for a reason. And they say God blesses the child that has his own. And even though it was so hard for me out there, like I was struggling, like I'm not even gonna lie. I was struggling, I was barely making it, but I was making it by the grace of God. And like they say, God blesses the child that has his own, and I have my own, and God kept blessing me. So, and he seen that I was trying, and that's all that mattered. So after that 6 months, I was just like, I can't do this no more. And my auntie was like, you know what, you can come home, or you can come and live up in my apartment until you, you know, get back on your feet or whatever the case may be. And I was like, you know what, okay, I'll go ahead and come back home, because I did miss being around my family, even though, you know, I'm not really too close to my family. My sister is like the most important thing to me, and I just, you know, didn't really want to be too far away from her. But after that 6 months, I paid my rent on time, paid my bills on time. You know, I was eating healthy. I was going to the gym. That was the good part about it. I had stability because I knew when I was going to work. I had a reliable job. I was working Monday through Friday at the same time. So I knew what my paycheck was going to be like every 2 weeks. So I knew, like, okay, I'm going to get an $800 check this week. I'm going to get an $800 check next week. This check is going to go towards my car note and my insurance. This check is going to go towards my rent. So I had, you know, it was all about stability. But I used to wake up every morning, you know, go to the gym, you know, make me a nice healthy breakfast. I used to eat a scrambled egg with spinach every morning and take my dogs out for a walk, and then go to the gym, come home from the gym, take me a shower, then go to work. So I had this whole schedule, and I was fit. That's one thing that I was. Like, I was very fit. I was healthy. You know, I had stopped smoking while I was out there, because in Arizona, I was living in Glendale, Arizona. It's not too many, you know, dispensaries out there, because I don't even think it's legal out there unless you have a medical card. So yeah, I had stopped smoking while I was out there too. And, you know, that's a good thing, because I do have asthma. So, you know, it was a good thing for me to get away from that whole environment for a little while. But yeah, so I stayed out there for that 6 months. And after that 6 months, I came home. And how many months later? I went home in August. My lease was up in August. I went to Arizona in January. I got my apartment in February, March, April, May, June, July, August. My lease was up August 1st. I left my apartment August 1st. And August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Here I am in March, 8 months later, with my own apartment in California. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you got to have faith in God, because God said, whatever I take from you, I'll give it back to you. And it's going to be better than what you lost. And I feel like the situation that I am in is way better than what I lost. You know what I'm saying? I'm closer to my family. I'm in a better environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I may not have a big closet like I wanted, but, you know, this is just temporary. I know that I have something bigger in store for me, but I just needed the stability, and I needed to be able to, you know, have my own space so I can think for myself and be in a nice, clean, new environment away from everybody. Because, you know, just me coming back to California, it's been crazy. And, you know, separating yourself from people is so important for your sanity, for everything. So I just wanted to tell you guys that believe in your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Believe in anything that you want to do, and you will succeed. Trust and believe me, because God is amazing. My Lord is amazing. My Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, is amazing. You know what I'm saying? I have my own apartment, and I can afford to live in my apartment in California. I have a nice 1-bedroom apartment. You know what I'm saying? So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to It's Been Slow TV. I would like to ask you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. And I would like to tell you guys to make sure you keep your faith in God and stay safe. I'll see you guys later. Bye, real friends.